Here we go.
Today's first question comes from Teddy on Facebook, who I want to give a special shout out to for helping me get my SNES Classic. Teddy says, if and when Nintendo makes the N64 Classic, which games would you like to see on it? Ignoring the fact that certain games are impossible, like GoldenEye, or sports games due to licensing issues.
So ignoring that, then Banjo-Kazooie gets to be on it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And Conquer.
I will
Conquer.
definitely put Banjo on it, but I mean, you gotta
Banjo 1 and 2.
No.
just
Banjo
just
1.
Kazooie.
Yeah.
2 is not as good as you remember it to be. Like
I played
the
it when
levels are good.
They re-released it on Xbox 360.
Okay.
I played through it again.
It ran nicer.
I still
right?
liked it. Yeah. It did run really
No,
well.
it's a great
It's
game.
way tougher. It's a way different game.
Yeah.
It's obviously the same aesthetic, and
Yeah.
but the design of it it's much more difficult.
But I would say I would definitely put the games on there that defined the N64 for me. So that'd be Super Mario 64,
Yep.
Ocarina of Time
Yep.
for sure, Mario Kart 64 for the multiplayer, and then GoldenEye. You have to have GoldenEye.
Not Majora's Mask.
Yeah. What
But see, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask is really great, but if you have Ocarina of Time, you kind of have that action-adventure genre covered, and I would rather leave space for some of the other genres, which Damon will bring up now.
Perfect Dark
There you go.
better than GoldenEye.
Perfect Dark is better than GoldenEye.
It is,
That's
but
the
it's the nostalgia. It's like everything
I
is
get it.
better
I understand that.
on Super NES Classic than Star Fox 2 as well, but
Yeah, that's-
you love having it on that machine because it's a game you've never played before.
Yeah.
What do you think? Any games to add?
Mario Party has to be on
Ooh,
there.
good-
You
good
need to
one.
have
One or two.
Two. I would say two.
I would say probably 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. I Donkey Kong 64, I think for me is a huge platformer.
It's interesting because I don't think people were not hot on that game at the time. The people it's too much.
Yeah.
The collecting is just too much now. It's overboard.
It was popular at the time. People liked it. But then I think in hindsight, they said, did I really need to collect 100 pink bananas on top of 100 blue bananas on top of 100 yellow bananas?
Yeah.
I mean, it had the world record for a long time for most collectibles in a game.
It was too much, yeah.
Yeah.
But you still, you like that.
Oh,
it's a completion.
Yeah, those
Completionist.
like Banjo-Kazooie, Mario 64, like those are my jam. Those are my games. So I have to. I love the DK rap.
Is
It's
it,
great.
is it true your favorite game of all time is Donkey Kong Country 2?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, that's why when I saw the SNES Classic, I knew that DKC 1 would be there, but definitely not 2.
Yeah.
I think 2 is
I wish that they had put 2 on this collection for sure.
yeah.
But I love the approach of taking kind of like a game that is representative of a genre or of a series. But yeah, it would be nicer if they picked the best one in the series.
I mean, I think especially for the US release of the SNES Classic, I think it's silly that Super Mario World and Yoshi's Island are on it. Not that those both aren't fantastic games, but the fact that those two are on, but not Donkey Kong 1 and 2, because I feel like Donkey Kong 2 is arguably a better game.
Oh, absolutely. Musically, graphically, gameplay wise, it's a much better game.
We digress.
What about Diddy Kong Racing?
Diddy Kong
Oh,
Racing could be on there?
Yeah.
I'm down for that.
But do you have that and Mario Kart?
yeah, they're very different.
Oh, they're very different.
One has airplanes.
And hoverboats.
And
I feel like Diddy Kong is like a party kart almost, whereas like Mario Kart is
There's
more
like a
like
weird
traditional
adventure
kart.
mode. and
Serious.
stuff.
Yeah, it has that overworld with the adventure mode. How do you feel about?
I'm sorry. The first console Mario Golf was on N64. It was awesome.
Yeah,
That would have to be on.
yeah.
That would have to be on there.
was this Camelot? There was also tennis and stuff.
Yeah.
right?
Mario
They
Tennis.
made
Mario
really good
Tennis.
games.
Yeah.
And then how do you feel about third parties like a Turok or something? Like, do they hold up, or can you not go back to them?
Man, the last time I saw Turok, the original, was for some N64 feature we did a couple years ago. Ooh, that game looks bad.
It runs smoothly, but you
does
can't
run
see
smoothly, but you
anything.
can't see-
And
it's
then
just
Turok
fog
2
everywhere.
does not run smoothly, but it
You can
looks
see-
pretty
yeah, it's
good.
clear.
Still.
Yeah.
The weapons are just so cool in those games. They just feel so right. And like
Cerebral Bore was 2, right?
two. That's disgusting. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
that's
awesome
the one.
too.
Yeah.
What about is it Star Wars Shadow of the Empire? Or
Shadow of the Empire was on. Yeah,
that
was
one was
Rogue
like
Squadron too.
yeah.
Yeah,
The
Rogue
original Rogue Squadron was really great.
I would put Rogue Squadron on there, but you're not going to get that licensing job done.
Yeah. Here's a weird one. Space Station Silicon Valley.
Yeah,
That's not a weird one at all. That's
Yeah.
great.
I love Space Station Silicon
Yeah.
Valley.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Rockstar.
So I
Weird.
think
Yeah.
was
Well, DMA.
Well, DMA, but yeah.
I think it was actually Barrett who played Body Harvest for a feature, right? Like
He
you guys
played-
made him play Body Harvest.
I made him play Body Harvest and Space Station Silicon Valley for a Grand Theft Auto feature.
So
yeah.
it was developed by then DMA Games, who are
DMA
Rockstar,
Design, yeah.
right? DMA Design, that's right.
Yeah.
And Body Harvest and Space Station Silicon Valley have a lot of those GTA elements of like, taking over cars and vehicles or creatures.
Yeah, it's pretty funny because like to look at it now, especially Body Harvest in comparison to GTA, like you can run up alongside these like Jeeps and the character does like a full front flip into the Jeep and then you can take off and drive. And like that's really interesting to think about.
They didn't want to animate it.
Yeah, in like 5 years you'd be playing GTA 3 where you can just get in any vehicle and drive it away. Like,
but you probably wouldn't put Body Harvest on that.
No, hell no, that game's not
like
good.
all the Duke Nukem 0 Hours and any of those games that just don't.
You don't want to play Earthworm Jim 3 on the N64?
Yeah, or Castlevania 64.
What about
probably,
this? Not Castlevania 64, but what about this? Tony Hawk 2.
Yeah, that's actually probably one of the best games on the N64 from the third-party realm, but it's not synonymous with the device. Neither is Resident Evil, for example.
No, Resident Evil 2, they managed to cram... What was it that they left out on the cart? The FMV was there.
It's just really compressed.
That's what it was. Yeah, I
It's-
thought maybe there was no voice acting in Resident Evil 2.
No, they have it. It's just
It was there,
very-
but it was very, very...
very, very compressed, very
Yeah.
tinny.
I remember was they
It
brought
wasn't very good to begin with, so it's fine.
they brought in Factor 5, the Rogue Squadron team, to help with the audio compression and some video compression.
Yeah.
I don't think we mentioned Majora's Mask.
We did.
We did.
He was...
So it depends. If you're telling me I can only put 20 games on there, and then you're asking me to include like all of the best third-party and first-party games, I think you got to cut somewhere. And I would say you put one game representative of every franchise. And you put Star Fox 64 on there instead of Majora's Mask, even though Majora's Mask is so much better.
Sure, but the NES Classic had the original Zelda and Link's Adventure. I mean, I think there's room for,
Because they're not similar at all.
Well,
I mean,
that's
they're
true.
so different.
Well, I think that the difference between the SNES and NES and the theoretical N64 is that really with the N64, they really shined with their first party stuff.
Yeah.
There was a lot of third party slog that I just don't think would ever appear on the N64.
You could probably make an N64 Mini using only
Nintendo games.
Yeah.
That's probably going to happen.
It's probably not going to be 20 games. I guarantee it'll be maybe 10 to 15 tops.
And remember, the N64 was the machine where they lost Square.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
And they lost
Take a look-
lost Enix after a while. They had Mischief Makers, but then nothing, it just kind of everything dried up. Capcom, took a while to come back to the machine. And
Scour the internet and take a look at the Final Fantasy VI demo for N64.
so good.
And tell me that
Those
if you were
blocky
Square and you
characters.
saw that, you wouldn't be like, I think we're gonna go over here. Yeah.
I'm curious. So, I'm curious. Technically, do you think it's actually feasible an N64 Mini?
Yeah.
Like they can make it small, they can make it cheap.
I think
put
the
a bunch of
hardest
games on it.
I think the hardest part would be the controller.
Thank you so much for joining us for our little mini chat here. As a reminder, Nintendo Voice Chat is our weekly Nintendo show. It's an hour long of all the Nintendo topics you want to hear about. You can find it at youtube.com/Nintendo Voice Chat. Enjoy.